ACDBE language. Airport concessions disadvantaged business enterprise, for those of you that are not familiar with that. This information is going to be covered very clearly with Suzanne Cruz-Sewell. She'll be speaking after me. One thing I do want you to understand, though, is if you are promising in your proposal that you're going to have a participation rate of a certain amount, that participation rate has to be maintained, okay? We will be requiring affidavits to be completed annually verifying that is met. Does everybody understand? Okay. And Suzanne will be covering all that clearly, and there's all kinds of language about it in the lease, so please read it. I know it's exciting language. Capital investment reporting. Okay, everybody listen carefully on this one. Within 90 days of the completion of construction, you need to submit to the concessions department an itemized list that clearly reflects the capital investment for the location as defined in the lease. We kind of define what capital investment is in that lease. We want you to go in there, make sure you understand what is considered capital investment. We need an itemized listing of that for your location, okay? This requirement is required not only at the beginning of the lease when your construction is completed, but at any remodel going forward, okay? Due diligence. You know what? The bottom line is we want you to open when the rest of the terminal opens, the end, okay? We want your store to be open, ready for customers, ready for business when we're ready to open that section of the terminal. That's the bottom line. However, if you fail to open, I get $250 a day. Okay? And after 60 days, if you haven't opened, listen carefully, in 60 days, if you haven't opened, the airport has the option to terminate the lease. Okay? And so it might be a real good idea to make sure that your contractor is accountable to you to get that location open on time, okay? Updated insurance. Let's talk about insurance just a little bit. Upon execution of your lease or prior to the commencement of any work in the space, your policy has to be in place. One thing that we have changed this time is we are going to be using a computer-based tracking system, and we are going to request that you also use that, or your insurance company uses, your insurance agents, your brokers use that system. It's called insert.com. It's clearly spelled out in the lease, but that's a change from what we've done in the past, and the reason we're doing that is because there's all kinds of insurance out there. There's lots of different requirements depending on the type of business that you have, and we want to make sure that all of us are covered all the time. Okay? Storage, big change for those of you that have contracts with us here currently. If you choose to have storage, your storage will be included with your lease. So we will not be doing permits each year. What will happen is, one change though, is your storage will be paid on an annual basis, okay? And so let's say you have storage someplace and you've got 100 square feet, okay? Right now, our storage is currently being leased for $30 per square foot per year. So keep that in mind while you're considering whether or not you want storage, and that storage will be paid on an annual basis, okay? Schedule of charges. Schedule of charges is typically similar to what, if you've got mall stores, it's very similar to what you'd pay in a mall in your CAM charges, your common area maintenance charges. So what we want to make sure that you guys understand is the schedule of charges is kind of our place to go for making some of the specific charges to your locations. So it does get updated periodically. I suggest that you review the concessionaire charges in the schedule of charges. If you want to take a look at that now, if you go to the website to dfwairport.com/concessions, over on the right-hand side toward the bottom, it talks about schedule of charges. That could include operations and maintenance fees. It could include employee transportation food court common area maintenance, trash removal, grease interceptor, vent-hood, storage, warehouse facilities. All of those things are included in schedule of charges, so that's a very important area for you to be familiar with. Last but not least, and I know you want me to keep talking, but this is my last one. Timing of lease execution. Your lease, and this is going to be a pretty quick timing, so can I get your commitment that you'll take the draft lease, show it to your attorney, read through it yourself, make sure you're familiar with it, because the lease has to be signed by you before we take it to the board for approval, okay? If for some reason the board does not approve the lease, it will not be fully executed. So the airport would not sign for it anyway. So we need to be ready to go where when that lease is signed, we can hit the ground running and get things started with the development. We don't want any leases pending after board approval. Every lease has to be signed prior to going to the board for approval. Now, was that too bad? Did you survive the lease language? Awesome. Does anybody have any questions on lease language? Yes, ma'am. Yes. Wait, here comes a microphone for you. And if I promise I will do the best I can. I'm not the expert. My answer might be in some instances. I'll check with Paul, the guy that was sitting right there, and get back to you.
Good morning, thank you. Just a quick question. You said the menu has to be listed and the pricing, all of the items. Is it possible to add new items throughout the term of the contract?
Yes, it is. What would happen is if you add or delete items from your menu or your services, all you have to do on the retail side is contact me. On the food and beverage side, you'd contact Peter Barwinkle, and we will review what you want to make changes on and either approve it or not approve it. And we will try to make that turnaround as quick as possible. What else? I did that good a job. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Good morning, everyone. How about that one more time? Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Are y'all hungry? Is that what it is? It's almost lunchtime. I will make this very quick. I'm going to cover the ACDBE component of this solicitation, Airport Concessions Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. The ACDBE, as well as an MWBE component, is a valuable consideration in awarding these concession agreements, and it will be an important element in the overall selection process. So I will go over sort of the areas that are covered here, the points, and the aspirational goals that are applicable. I do want to make clear that DFW does not set these goals just for the sake of setting goals. They are not to be misconstrued as a quota or a set-aside. These are aspirational goals, which we're asking the concessionaires to all make a good faith effort to meet. We're looking for active involvement in these concessions, and we're looking for significant and meaningful participation in the roles of the ACDBEs and the MWBEs in these lease agreements. Evaluation categories related to both programs, the ACDBE and MWBE program, are as follows. The ACDBE participation, you may receive up to 10 points. And on the MWBE participation, you may receive up to 5 points. And I believe by now the entire point system has been presented. So this should have been covered in an earlier presentation. Again, these are not the participation goals. These are merely the points that are being awarded as part of the evaluation criteria. We'll talk about the participation goals here in the next couple of slides. And these goals you can either achieve either through equity ownership participation or by subcontracting and purchasing participation. We're also looking that your proposals include not only the hands-on involvement of the ACDBEs and MWBEs, but also programs, assistance, support to enhance the participation of ACDBEs and to support them in their capacity and in their role in your lease agreement. So plenty of opportunity to not only provide hands-on participation, but also programs that support and enhance their participation in our lease agreements.